For all the fun tonight on Nashville Now. I tell you, I am an unabashed fan of the Andy Griffith Show, and tonight I'm delighted to welcome all these people. There's one you haven't met, and he's here now. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Knotts, Barney Fife. Are you Barney tonight or Don?
Well, I'll be Don for now.
All right, Don. This your first trip to Nashville?
It is, actually. First time.
Do people stop you on the street and say, "Hi, Barn"?
Yeah, sometimes. Or Don.
I was reading, there's a book called The Andy Griffith Show, and I read where in the first episode, which was on the Danny Thomas Show.
Well, now the pilot, Andy did that. I wasn't in that.
I know, but he had no deputy.
Oh, no, he didn't.
And you saw this.
Right.
As an opportunity.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I called him. He was in New York doing a show on Broadway, and I called him in New York, and I said, you know, I think you could use a deputy. So he said, that's a good idea. So we took it from there.
Then did you go see Sheldon Leonard, the producer?
He said, go see Sheldon, and I did. We sat and talked about it for a whole afternoon, and he said, I'll get back to you. So like most actors, I spent a long time waiting for the phone to ring.
How long did it take them to make up the mind?
It took them about a month.
And then when they did the pilot, I assume as all pilots, they have to figure out whether they want to go with it or not.
Well,
Did
that's
it take
true.
a while to figure it out?
Yeah, now I don't know much about how long that took, but it took them a long time it seemed a long time to me it took to get back to me.
Did you meet Andy in No Time for Sergeants?
Yes, 1955.
When he was, what was the character? Stockdale?
Will Stockdale.
Will Stockdale.
Yeah.
What was your character?
Well, I didn't have a character name. I had such a small part I didn't even have a name.
Were you one of the GIs?
Yeah, I was a guy who gave him a psychological test with some rings.
Do you still get a rush when you see Thelma Lou?
Oh, sure.
Thelma Lou, when did you become Barney's girlfriend?
Gosh, toward the end of the first year, I guess, as I remember. I did one show, I think. He'd had 2 other girlfriends before that, as I remember, too.
Yeah, did Barney ever date Juanita?
You never even saw Juanita.
I didn't. I've never seen her, but I thought maybe I missed an episode.
No, that was a character that we made sure we never saw.
I did. Thelma Lou.
Yeah.
I saw the high school reunion episode, and I'm trying to figure out did you come back that night married to somebody else?
Yes. Surprising, right?
Yeah, I knew I hated you for some reason.
I hated me, too.
How could you do that to Barney?
More people ask me that. It was like I had really set out to do the most terrible thing in the whole world, was to hurt Barney Fife. And I was hurt. That was my last show, you know. And I really, I was shocked when I got the script. I had no idea, and I read this, and I thought, what? So I said, the first reading that day, I said, I don't think she'd ever do this. I don't think she'd ever do this. And Aaron Rubin said, oh, yes, she really is doing this. So I said, well, okay. I was kind of sad.
I would think that would have prompted letters, people disappointed.
Well, a lot of people that I've run into through the years mention that show in particular and say, how could you have done that? I said, I don't know. I don't know how I did it.
George?
I didn't feel happy about it.
George has this very special suit on. I want you to show off your suit and tell these people the history of the suit.
Could I have a little walking music?
You got a, have you? Yeah, okay.
This suit, as pretty as it is, it's kind of a high water suit. They said there's going to be floods in Nashville. Belonged to Howard McNear, who played Floyd the Barber. And a friend of his died in San Francisco, and he didn't have a suit, so they sent this suit up there for him to be buried in, and it didn't fit him. Not that it matters. And so they sent it back, and they gave it to Jim Neighbors. We didn't have a big wardrobe budget. And Jim wore it for the year and a half he was on the show, and then I got it. And I've been lucky enough to keep it. I like to wear it to a lot of festive occasions.
Well, it looks good on you, George.
I know it. A lot of guys can't wear a suit. But the moths got in it, and just about ate it up. I need to get something with polyester. The moths ate it up, but if anybody wants to talk, clothing, I'd be happy to see them after the show.
Now we have Otis, are you still awake down there?
Yes, I'm out with Juanita.
I think it's ironic. Otis, don't you play a role for MAD in real life, Mothers Against Drunk Driving?
Yes, I do. I always say, how do you do? I'm Otis Campbell from the Andy Griffith Show, and if you'll just let me sober up a moment, I'd like to tell you one thing, a good message for all of you: don't drink and drive. Remember, dangerous.
And then there's Rafe Hollister. Rafe, I remember an episode where they wanted to give you your shots, the county nurse did. And you took a shot at Barney.
Well, if I'd have wanted to hit him, I would have. He should have known that.
And Barney came out with the nurse. Who played the nurse in those days?
That was Julia Adams. Julia Adams.
She was Andy's romantic interest before Thelma Lou, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And she came out, you didn't want the shots, and Andy finally talked you into it. But you did take a shot at Barney. What kind of mail did this show draw? Did people get wrapped up in the characters?
I don't know, to be honest, about the mail poll. I never saw the mail for the show. I got my own mail, but I didn't see it.
I had a letter pour in.
Did you really?
Did you have a letter for him?
John, what did they write to you about?
Oh, everything. I used to get a lot of bullets in the mail.
Oh, did you? To put in your gun?
Everywhere I go, I get a bullet. And how do you get rid of a bullet?
Well,
Wait, I got 1,900 bullets at home.
Are the original costumes, the original deputy's costume, is that still in existence?
I don't know about that, but I do have my salt and pepper suit.
Oh, that one.
One I got all dressed up in, yeah.
One where you used to take out these girls, these two girls that lived over, where in Siler, was it Siler City?
Fun girl.
Yeah.
The ones that, one had a real deep voice.
Right.
Oh, doll.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Did people ever try to help you because they thought you were nervous?
Oh, you mean from the Steve Allen show?
Well, no. Of course, that's the first time I ever saw you. No, but because of the character you played on Andy Griffith.
Well, I don't think I came off as nervous. I think they thought that from the other shows I did. But, well, people always tried to help Barney. I think Barney was kind of a childish character, I approached him as I would a child. Because all of his feelings are just hanging out, you know.
Yeah.
Like if he felt great, he looked great. And if he felt sad, he looked sad and behaved sad. And if he was angry, he let, just like kids do.
And he had a lot of knee-jerk reactions too, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, immediate, yeah.
George, when you came with the show, didn't you audition for the first time for the
Gomer.
part of Gomer?
Gomer. I auditioned for the Gomer job and got it. And that weekend, Andy had seen Jim Neighbors at a nightclub called The Horn, and he got the job. But I think that whole time they were playing on him, spinning him off, and because during that whole time he'd say, "Andy, Goober says hey," and he'd say, "Well, tell Goober hey." And so I was sort of introduced for like a year and a half before I ever came on. So I think they always intended me to be Goober. I'm not sure. What I'm really thinking about is Don buying 1,900 guns.
I would ask Hal Smith. Hal, you not only have made a living playing Otis Campbell, I understand that you do a great number of voiceovers of characters in cartoons.
Yeah, yeah, oh yes.
What do you do?
Well, for 17 years, I did the voice of Winnie the Pooh, the poor little bear, you know? And it goes... it goes something like this.
My name is Winnie the Pooh, and I'm a bear with a big fat tummy, and I love honey, but I'm getting thinner because there's no honey around. Oh, bother.
All right.
And then,
That's funny.
Ralph?
Yes.
Quite often, the old owl talks to him. I was the original owl in the
Oh, were
Winnie the
you?
Pooh series. Sterling Holloway was the original Winnie the Pooh.
And something happened to Sterling with a pacemaker, and it didn't work, so I had to do it.
How
But
did
the owl is a funny old character.
How did the owl sound?
Oh, my goodness, Pooh, it's awfully good to see you. How are you feeling?
Well, not very good, because as I told you, my tummy is getting thin.
Well, I'd like to have you meet a very good friend of mine whose name is Sir Lawrence Olivier. Do you know Pam Owler or Caroline? They're all relatives, you know.
No, I'm sorry, Owl, I don't know who they are.
Well, never mind.
That's actually Hal Smith. And this portion of Nashville Now is brought to you by